This is from Martin in the UK. Hello, I wanted to ask, in the case that we're going to see a shift into Quad 4 and the U.S. dollar turns to a bullish trade, is the trend is still China? I guess the question is China still long in that scenario? So we go into Quad 4, U.S. dollar turns bullish.
Yeah, China.
Is China still long?
One, let's go through it. Like, China is not USA. Let's start with that. Two, China's in Quad 2, not in Quad 4. Three, China's still bullish trend. The volatility signal looks nothing like the NASDAQ or Apple, which is what's really driving that. So those three, there's three reasons right there to not. And it's often what somebody would ask because they think when something goes down, then everything else should go down. That's actually quite the opposite. Think about it. When the dollar goes down, commodities in emerging markets have a central tendency to go up. So again, we're going to pay attention to that. I was selling some China, some KWEB, and some KBA in the last couple days because it was what? It was not at the low end of the range, and I just took down my gross exposure anyway. I told you that. Take down my gross long exposure. I pretty much can't get hurt right now. When you don't really have a position other than coffee that's lean, I'm not really leaning any way. I'm looking at leaning short tech, certain names in my PA, like Intel, for example. Not that you need to day trade that or anything, but really you can't get hurt when you take it down. You got to pay the taxes, but you can't get hurt. That's the whole point about, again, the way that I think about it versus the way that everybody that's got to be fully allocated all the time. And that's another thing that bothers hedge fund managers. They're like, well, I can't do it the way he can. You know, he's an asshole because I got to be fully invested because I'm the man. I'm really good at that. Well, we actually saw that in March. A lot of the gross long exposure and the leverage long exposure of hedge funds, they got clocked. Some of the greatest hedge funds in the history of running neutral because they had too much gross on. They had too much dollars on into a volatility storm. Now, into a volatility storm, I just back off. I go to another town. I go to glamping or something. I'm just going to do anything other than be in the throat of that.
Actually, what a lot of them did too, we have some friends that work at some of these, and funds that have been very successful historically, but they gross down at the bottom too. So they kind of took down all the risk right at sort of the trough, which, obviously then they didn't catch the upside.
Well, we have a lot of, I wouldn't say some of these people are friends, but I have a lot of people that I know in the business that worked at hedge funds. You do that, and no wonder I piss people off. I mean, I explain why you go home that night, like I did in November 2nd, 2007, and you feel shame. You got fired. Well, what's worse? You have this asshole McCullough writing about precisely why you should feel shame. Well, so that's that somebody's got to do it, right? If I got to be that guy, I will be that guy. If I got to be the coach, last night you should have seen me on the ice. I was not in a good mood because I didn't like our record this weekend, and I didn't like some of the behaviors that I was seeing on the ice. If you're a parent in the stands and you don't like me as a coach, get somebody else. That's the way that I think about it. We're going to keep going this way. We're going to get better, and we're going to get better and better, and we're going to let the complainers whine because that's what losers do.